Ryuto Kageyama's ultimate choice: sacrifice his love or lose himself. Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you is gonna mess with your head in ways you ain't ready for. They say love conquers all, right? That's what they sell you in the movies and those cheap romance novels your girl keeps on her nightstand. But let me tell you something, love ain't always the hero of the story. Sometimes it's the damn villain wearing a mask so beautiful you don't see the knife until it's already buried deep. This is the story of Ryuto Kageyama, and I'm warning you now. This ain't some fairy tale ending where everybody rides off into the sunset. This is real, this is raw, this is the kind of story that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about love, loyalty, and what you're willing to become for the person who sets your soul on fire. Part 1, the beginning of the end. Ryuto Kageyama wasn't anybody special. I mean, the guy was a data analyst at some mid-tier tech firm in downtown Seattle, pulling 70 grand a year, living in a studio apartment that smelled like instant ramen and broken dreams. 28 years old, average height, decent looking if you squinted. Nothing about him screamed main character energy. But here's the thing about Ryuto: the man had a heart that felt everything at 1000%. When he loved hard. When he hurt, he bled from the inside out. And when he met Selena Reeves at that overpriced coffee shop on Pike Street, his whole world tilted on its axis. Selena was God. How do I even describe her? Picture fire and silk. Had a baby. That was Selena, mixed girl with these hypnotic hazel eyes that can read your soul like a Sunday newspaper. She had this laugh that made you feel like you were the only person in the room, even when you were surrounded by a crowd. She worked as a photographer freelance, which basically meant she was broke but pretended not to care because she was living for her art. They met on a Tuesday. Ryuto spilled his coffee all over her portfolio. Most women would have lost their minds, but Selena, she just smiled and said, "Guess the universe is telling us we're supposed to meet." Corny, hell yeah. But Ryuto was hooked. Within 3 months, they were inseparable. Within 6, they were moving in together. Ryuto upgraded from that studio to a 2-bedroom in Capitol Hill. And suddenly life had color again. Selena's art covered the walls. Her clothes mixed with his in the closet. Her toothbrush sat next to his like they'd been together for decades. But you know what they say: when something seems too good to be true, it usually is. A Ryuto man was so deep in love, he was drowning. He made excuses, just building her career. She's networking and just being paranoid. The truth has a way of forcing itself into the light. Though it was a Friday night when everything shattered, Ryuto came home early from work. His team lead had food poisoning, so they cut out at 4. He brought home Thai food, Selena's favorite, thinking he'd surprise her. The surprise was on him. He opened the apartment door to find Selena's camera bag on the floor. Her shoes kicked off in that careless way she always did. He heard voices coming from the bedroom. Her laugh, that same laugh that had made him fall for her, mixed with a deeper voice, masculine, intimate. His heart stopped. His hands went numb. The Thai food hit the floor. What would you do in that moment? I mean, really, what would you do when the person you bleed for is in your bed with someone else? Ryuto didn't storm and didn't yell. He stood there frozen, listening to the sounds that confirmed every fear had been pushing down for months. The rhythmic creaking of the bed had bought for them, her voice saying things she used to say only to him. He turned around and walked out, just left, wandered the streets of Seattle for hours until the rain soaked through his jacket and he couldn't tell if his face was wet from the weather or the tears. Part 3, the man in the shadows. That's when Marcus entered the picture. Marcus Chen was what you'd call a fixer, not the criminal kind, but close enough. He ran a personal consulting business that specialized in, let's call it, life recalibration. You got a problem you can't solve through normal channels. Marcus was your guy. Ryuto met him at a bar that same night. Both of them sitting alone, both of them nursing whiskey like it was medicine. Woman trouble? Marcus asked, now looking up from his glass. Ryuto laughed, this bitter, broken sound. That obvious always is. You got that look like someone reached inside your chest and ripped out something vital. They talked, or rather Ryuto unloaded everything: the affair, the betrayal, how had given Selena everything and she'd thrown it back in his face, how he felt like he was disappearing, like the version of himself had built around loving her was crumbling and there was nothing underneath. Marcus listened, really listened. Then he said something that changed the entire trajectory of Ryuto's life. You want her back, or you want her to feel what you're feeling. Part for the game begins. Marcus' plan was simple but brutal: make Selena fall in love with Ryuto all over again, harder than before, then destroy her the same way she destroyed him. Step 1, ghost her completely. No explanations, no confrontation, just disappear. Ryuto moved out that weekend while Selena was at another photography session. Left a note that said 3 words: I know, goodbye. Step to total transformation. Marcus introduced Ryuto to a personal trainer, a stylist, a therapist who specialized in confidence building. In 3 months, Ryuto dropped 20 pounds of flab. Built muscle, upgraded his entire wardrobe, got a promotion at work by finally showing some backbone. But the biggest change is mindset. Step 3, Ray entered her orbit, but different, controlled, powerful. Marcus set it up perfectly 6 months after Ryuto left. He accidentally showed up at an art gallery opening where Selena was displaying her work. While he wasn't alone, he had a stunning woman on his arm, a model Marcus had hired for the occasion. The look on Selena's face, when she saw him, pure shock. Her eyes went wide, scanning him, like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. This was the Ryuto who left. This was someone new, someone dangerous. Part 5, The Seduction. Over the next 3 months, Ryuto executed Marcus' plan flawlessly. He would show up at places he knew Selena would be, always looking sharp, always with someone beautiful, always acting like she was the last thing on his mind, and it was driving Selena insane. She started texting him, started with apologies, then excuses, then confessions. Told him about the guy Shed been seeing, some photographer named Derek who promised to boost her career, said it meant nothing. Said Shed made the biggest mistake of her life. Then came the breakthrough. She showed up at his new apartment crying, mascara running down her face. I can't do this anymore. I can't watch you move on like I never mattered. Please, Ryuto, please just talk to me. This was the moment he let her and made her tea, listen to her, pour her heart out, and then he kissed her. They fell into bed. For the next 2 months they were back together, but it was different. Part 6, The Spiral. Ryuto kept her at arm's length emotionally, and Selena, she became obsessed. Marcus would check in weekly, but Ryuto felt hollow. Then Selena did something that changed everything. She got pregnant. Part 7, The Ultimate Choice. Abort mission, Marcus said, but Ryuto couldn't speak. He still loved her. That night, Selena fell asleep in his arms. Ryuto didn't sleep. He lay there staring at the ceiling, facing the ultimate choice. Part 8, The Decision. The next morning, Ryuto made his choice. He told her the truth, everything, the plan, the revenge, the manipulation. Selena broke. Ryuto chose himself. He handed her a check. She slapped him. She left. The aftermath and final twist and epilogue. 6 months later, Selena returned with an ultrasound. 2 years later, Ryuto got a photograph. Selena was happy with another man, with his child. Ryuto had won every battle and lost the war. Revenge doesn't destroy your enemy, it destroys you. The end.